Hello, welcome to another video on English XP. हमने थोड़ी सी ब्रेक ली थी because of the coronavirus and everything, so I was busy in some other stuff. But subscribe to this channel and follow this space regularly, तो आपको regular updates सब मिलती रहेंगी. हम IELTS का कोर्स भी कवर करेंगे, other English language कोर्सेज भी कवर करेंगे. इन इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज वीडियोस भी आपको इस चैनल पे मिल सकती हैं. So, coming to the IELTS, basically I have a comprehensive book that I have compiled through various sources. So subscribe to this channel now and I will provide you the main tips and tricks that you need to succeed in the IELTS exam. We will cover all of the sections. In this present video, we are going to be covering the reading section. As you can see, there's a reading passage on the screen here. Now, one main trick for reading, what you always have to do is that you have to look at your questions first. For example, जब भी आप कोई चीज़ पढ़ते हैं तो you read with a goal in mind. In this case, in the IELTS, आपका goal ये है कि आपने वो questions answer करने हैं. You're not really interested in the text. It's not a topic of interest to you. It's nothing like that. But what you're reading it for is to do the questions that are given. So in every case, you're just going to look at the questions first. Now in this case, when we look at these questions, so we can see that they are a list of headings type of question. List of headings type of question में आपने क्या करना है? You are going to look at the list of headings, go back and then read just the first sentence of each paragraph that you need to select a heading for. Now this technique is usually applicable for most paragraphs apart from the introduction. You have to keep this in mind कि introduction में आपकी ये technique नहीं होगी क्योंकि introduction वाले paragraph में आपको पूरा paragraph पढ़ना पड़ेगा. All subsequent या बाकी सारे paragraphs में you can just look at the very first line और फर्स्ट लाइन से आपने मैच करने की कोशिश करनी है कोई ना कोई हेडिंग. नाउ दिस विल रिक्वायर अ लॉट ऑफ फ्लिपिंग ओवर. ये आपने जहन में रखना है. कीप इट इन माइंड दैट द IELTS एग्जाम, द रीडिंग सेक्शन रिक्वायर्स यू टू कंटिन्यूसली लुक एट द पैसेज, देन बैक एट द क्वेश्चंस, द पैसेज, द क्वेश्चंस. इसी तरह से आप करोगे तो आपको समझ में आएगी. सो फॉलोइंग दिस टेक्निक, फर्स्ट लेट्स लुक एट द फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ paragraph number 1 that they have asked us to do. We can see that the first introduction paragraph in this case is not relevant. Does not need to be, we don't need to select a heading for it. So we look at the title, natural gas in the transportation sector. And then we read the first sentence of the first paragraph that we need to select a heading for. First sentence है, there are many reasons why NGVs are increasing in abundance and popularity. Right? So क्या कह रहे हैं ये कि काफ़ी reasons हैं कि NGVs, natural gas vehicles, popularity में और abundance में कितनी हैं वो increase कर रही हैं. तो ये काफ़ी ज़्यादा उसके पीछे reasons हैं. Then what we do is we go down and look at the headings again. Another thing we want to keep in mind for this type of question is that you can only select one heading for one time. एक heading आपने select कर ली तो आपने cross out कर लेनी है ताकि आपकी list कम हो जाए and for the remaining paragraphs it becomes easier for you to select a heading. Okay, so now we look at the headings. So आपके ख्याल से अब इसमें हम देखते हैं the advantages of NGVs, the need for change, reducing carbon monoxide emissions, who uses NGVs, and an expanding refueling infrastructure. Now out of all of these, we see that the advantages of NGVs is the most perfect fit because उन्होंने क्या बात की थी? The reason for their abundance and popularity. अब ये reason इस चीज़ का यही होगा ना कि उस चीज़ के advantages क्या हैं. So we select A and then we go back, and this is also very important कि आप थोड़ा सा मज़ीद स्किम कर लें थ्रू द पैराग्राफ, थोड़ा सा देख लें कि क्या यही बात हो रही है, क्या एडवांटेजेस ऑफ NGVs की ही बात हो रही है इसमें. सो वी सी दैट करेक्टली इस पैराग्राफ में एडवांटेजेस ही मेनली डिस्कस हो रहे हैं. तो वो हम सेलेक्ट कर लेंगे और बाकी उसको क्रॉस कर लेंगे. देन वी सी कि वी हैव टू पैराग्राफ्स लेफ्ट एंड जस्ट 4 ऑप्शंस. अब उन 4 ऑप्शंस में से हमने बाकी सेलेक्ट करनी है. You can go ahead and try the remaining 2 paragraphs on your own, and for the complete book, a copy of the complete book, you will have to get in touch with me at the below mentioned email and we can work something out as much as you need. अगर आपको private lessons की भी ज़रूरत है तो we can work those out. If you just need a copy of the book, you think you can cover it yourself, then I can possibly give you the PDF. Okay. Now moving on, we see that the following exercise is something which is not necessarily इस टाइप का क्वेश्चन आपके IELTS में आता नहीं है. ये एक वर्ड बिल्डिंग या वोकैबुलरी बिल्डिंग एक्सरसाइज है. ये इस टाइप की एक्सरसाइज आपको बहुत हेल्प करेंगी बिकॉज इन द रीडिंग सेक्शन you have to basically find synonyms. जो उन्होंने आपके क्वेश्चन स्टेटमेंट में या हेडिंग्स में जो वर्ड्स दिए होंगे exactly वही वर्ड नहीं आपके पैसेज में होगा. it will be slightly different. So you have to be able to find words that have similar meanings in the questions and in the text. In this case, we see it says match the words or expressions from the article 1 through 9 with words or expressions that have similar meaning. So it's a very simple exercise. We are basically just going to look at a word and then select one with a similar meaning from the next column. Now first let's look at the first word. It's proliferation. Proliferation आपने अक्सर इसका सुना होगा in the newspapers where they talk about nuclear proliferation. Proliferation basically means an increase in something. So we see from our options that we can select, great increase. E is the correct option for proliferation. Now number 2 हम देखते हैं impediments. Impediments क्या होते हैं? Impediments होते हैं वो चीज़ें that are proving to stop you from doing something. So you can say the speaking section of the IELTS is an impediment to my good score. तो इसका मतलब क्या हुआ कि जो speaking section है वो impediment है, वो एक barrier है to me getting a good score. So an impediment is C, barrier. Go through the list and select similar synonyms. You can check your answers online through a dictionary, or you can of course contact me at the below mentioned email address and we can work out some sort of study plan for you. The third exercise that we are looking at in this video is a further vocabulary builder exercise. This sort of exercise, these phrases can help you in the writing and the reading section of the IELTS. In the writing section आप इस तरह के phrases use करेंगे तो it will give a good impression to the examiner that you have a wide vocabulary bank of words and phrases. Likewise, in the reading section, sometimes you have to make sense of phrases according to the sentence. कि किस तरह से वो sentence में use हुए और क्या इसका मतलब हो सकता है. In this case भी हमने ऐसे ही करना है. Let's first take a look at our question statement. This is also again very important in the IELTS exam that you read the question statement very carefully. This is just something that you should practice. However, ये मैं disclaimer देना चाह रहा हूँ कि इस टाइप का क्वेश्चन आपके एक्चुअल एग्जाम में नहीं होगा. ये एक जनरल वोकैबुलरी बिल्डिंग एक्सरसाइज है. अब देखते हैं ये क्वेश्चन क्या कहता है. Match the idiomatic phrases in italics 1 through 7 with their meanings A through G. Idiomatic phrase क्या होता है? Idiomatic phrase होता है something which does not necessarily mean the exact same thing they're implying. It means something else. उसकी जो meaning है that is different from the literal meaning of the words that are used. ठीक है? Now let's look at the first one. Robert's a bright spark. He'll know the capital of Mongolia. A bright spark. Now what does a bright spark mean? Let's see. We look at our options and a bright spark basically means an intelligent person. He'll know the capital of Mongolia से हमें आइडिया होता है कि वो कोई अच्छी कोई पॉजिटिव बात ही कर रहे हैं रॉबर्ट के बारे में. और रॉबर्ट को वो ब्राइट स्पार्क क्या होता है कि एक इंटेलिजेंट इंसान हो तो उसको आप कह सकते हो कि ही इज़ अ ब्राइट स्पार्क, ही इज़ वेरी इंटेलिजेंट. So the correct answer here would be F. Now let's look at another one. Andrea's full of beans this morning. Full of beans is in italics. Now, full of beans का क्या मतलब होता है कि has a lot of energy. So our correct answer is C. Now, why does it mean has a lot of energy? Because generally it is considered that beans are very nutritious. So उससे ये derive हुआ idiomatic phrase कि full of beans means that something has a lot of energy. Let's look at number 3. Do you really think we can sell our cars in Japan? It's like taking coal to Newcastle. Taking coal to Newcastle is in italics, and what does that really mean? Now, I'll give you a little history behind this idiomatic phrase. Newcastle में basically coal बहुत ज़्यादा available था, बहुत ज़्यादा coal mines nearby थी, and there was a lot of coal already there. So saying something is like taking it to Newcastle is taking something where it is not needed, where there is already an abundance of it. In this case, we see that they talk about cars and Japan. So it is common knowledge that Japan already produces a lot of cars. So taking cars to Japan would be like taking coal to Newcastle. It would be taking something where it is not needed, where it is already available. In this case, our answer would be G. Now I want you to go ahead and do the rest of these by yourself, and then again you can check them online, or you can get in touch with me in the email address provided. Our last exercise for today is going to be looking at modifiers and intensifiers. Modifiers and intensifiers are often used with adjectives to qualify the meaning of an expression in some way. Looking at the forecast for the world's energy demands for the future is pretty frightening. As in the below example, they often serve to convey the opinion of the author. So we can see that modifiers and intensifiers often tell you कि the author क्या सोच रहा है, what opinion does the author have. अब देखते हैं थोड़े से examples. It says choose the best word to complete these sentences. Number 1, working in a coal mine is a totally dangerous job, or working in a coal mine is an extremely dangerous job. So we know that in this case, extremely would be the correct answer. Totally would not be, because totally is generally something that is fixed. अब आप totally dangerous नहीं कह सकते क्योंकि उसमें कोई fixed level of dangerousness नहीं है. It's extremely dangerous, मतलब कि बहुत ज़्यादा dangerous है. Let's look at number 2. People who work on oil rigs are generally so well paid, or are generally very well paid. And then, but they do work incredibly hard or definitely hard. Now let's take a look at both of these options one by one. First of all, it is always very well paid. I am very well paid, he is very well paid. This is a general expression. So in this case, you would say people who work on oil rigs are very well paid. They do work incredibly hard. Again, जब आप किसी चीज़ को describe कर रहे होते हो कि this is incredibly difficult, incredibly hard, you don't say definitely hard, because definitely means a specific definite. अब वो definite नहीं है, वो बहुत मुश्किल है, कोई खास एक specific level of मुश्किल नहीं है. So you would always use incredibly hard, meaning कि बहुत ही ज़्यादा, incredibly बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल है. Now I again would like you, and it's a good practice for you, that ये जो questions 3 to 6 हैं, try them on your own and maybe consult an online Google for the answers, or you can again get in touch with me. Now we should also look at the tip provided at the end here. It's very important. It says it's a good idea to make a collection of phrases and expressions using modifiers and intensifiers as you read. In addition, we use modifiers or intensifiers to qualify what we are writing or talking about, which can show our attitude towards something. In the IELTS test, there are often questions that focus on the author's opinions. So again, we will see in future videos, in some questions they ask you of what the author was thinking or what opinion does the author hold. इसमें फिर ये आपको बहुत हेल्प करेगा कि आप आइडेंटिफाई कर सकें कि कहाँ मॉडिफायर्स हैं और वो किस टाइप के हैं, पॉजिटिव हैं, नेगेटिव हैं, किस टाइप के मॉडिफायर्स एंड इंटेंसिफायर्स हैं. That is it for our video today. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on the notifications so you can be regularly updated जैसे जैसे ही हमारी कोई नई वीडियो आए. Stay tuned to English XP for more English related videos. Thank you.